We're diving into the top 5 most valuable Washington quarter dollars ever discovered. These rare coins have shocked collectors and made headlines, with some fetching jaw-dropping prices at auction. From mint errors to low-mintage treasures, you won't believe how much these coins are really worth. If you've ever wondered whether your spare change could make you rich, this is the video for you. Stay tuned, because one of these quarters could change your life. You could be holding a coin that looks completely ordinary, a coin that jingles in your pocket, that maybe even bought your coffee this morning, but is secretly worth thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is not just a coin, it's a ticking treasure chest. A 1981 P. Washington quarter with rare errors so valuable, so elusive, and so mysterious, that collectors have paid eye-watering prices for just a glimpse. Some have been auctioned for well over $10,000, and rumors swirl that some could be worth 6 figures or more. The most rare and valuable 1981 P error varieties. Here are the top 1981 P errors that have stunned collectors and shattered auction records. Off-center strike error, value. Minor off-centers, 5 to 10% $50 to $150. Moderate off-centers, 20 to 40% $200 to $800. Dramatic off-centers, 50% plus $1,000 to $3,000. Rare examples with visible date and mint mark, $5,000 plus. Double die obverse DDO, value. Strong DDOs from 1981 P are extremely rare. Mild doubling might fetch $200 to $500. A confirmed strong DDO with visible doubling can bring $2,500 to $10,000 plus, depending on grade. One such example sold at auction in MS66 condition for $6,800. Wrong planchet error, value. Quarter struck on a 5C planchet, sold for $4,320. Quarter struck on a 1C planchet, sold for $6,000. Quarter struck on a Philippine 25 centimo blank, estimated at $10,000 to $15,000. Broad strike errors, value. Have sold for $400 to $1,200, depending on severity and condition. Clipped planchet error, value. Small clip, $100 to $300. Large clip with full date / mint mark, $600 to $1,500. Auction sales. Let's talk about real money, the kind that has made headlines in the numismatic world. 1981 P quarter struck on a 1C planchet, sold for $6,000. This was certified by NGC and graded MS65 red. It weighed only 3.11 grams, a dead giveaway. It was struck on a cent planchet. 1981 P double denomination error, sold for $10,800. A 1981 P quarter struck on top of a 1980 dime. This unbelievable, double denomination error is one of a kind. Off-center with full date, sold for $2,880. This coin was struck 70% off-center, but the full 1981 and P mint mark were still visible, a dream error for collectors. How to identify a 1981 P error? Let's make this practical. If you want to hunt one of these treasures, here's what to do: weigh your quarters. Use a jeweler's scale. A normal quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. Anything drastically lower or higher could signal a wrong planchet error. Inspect under magnification. Use a loupe, 10x magnification, to look for doubling on 1981. Also check for missing or weak rim details, clues for broad strikes or off-centers. Look at the edges. Are the reeds smooth, missing, or malformed? These can indicate edge errors or broad strikes. Don't clean the coin. Leave it in its original condition. Cleaning can reduce value by up to 90%. Today, we're diving deep into the astonishing story of one of the most mysterious and valuable error coins ever minted in American history, the 1982 P. Washington quarter dollar error coin. The birth of the Washington quarter. Although the Philadelphia Mint long struck quarters with no mint mark, beginning in 1980 it added a small P on the obverse ribbon, making the 1982 P among the early P-marked Washington quarters. Composition and production in 1982, still clad, 75% copper, 25% nickel, and weighing 5.67 g, 1982 production was pushed hard to meet circulation demand, leading to a surge in minting anomalies. 1982 P error types: off-center strikes, value, minor offsets, 5 to 10%, $10, $50, dramatic offsets, 20 to 50%, $200, $3000 plus. Strike through grease fibers metal, value range, small grease spots, $50, $200, large, dramatic gouges, up to $1,000 plus. Double die obverse DDO, value subtle doubling, $100, $500, obvious doubling, $1, $500, $5,000 plus. Clipped planchet and broad strike, value clipped planchets, $100, $400, broad strikes, $150, $600. Die cracks and cuds, value fine die cracks, $25, $75, heavy die crack / cud varieties, $200, $1, $500 plus. Auction records and real value. Now let's talk about money, the kind of money these coins have fetched. Real-world auction examples. A 1982 P quarter with a deep die clash error sold for $6,900 in a private sale in 2022. An MS-67 strike-through grease error graded by PCGS went for $3,850 at Heritage Auctions. A near-perfect MS-68 example with multiple die cracks was auctioned for over $10,000. Why prices keep climbing? The U.S. coin market is experiencing a massive surge in interest thanks to viral videos, social media, and booming online auctions. More collectors are entering the market than ever before, increasing competition and prices, especially for low mintage or error coins. Experts believe a 1982 P quarter featuring a dramatic error, combined with a perfect or near-perfect grade, MS-68 Plus, could someday breach the $100,000 or even $1 million mark, especially if a unique variety is discovered. How to identify valuable 1982 P quarters. Here's how to tell if your 1982 P quarter is worth big bucks. Look for the mint mark. Ensure it has the P mint mark, a small letter near Washington's ponytail. Inspect for errors. Use a magnifier or loupe. Check for doubling in the letters and date, weak or missing details, off-center strikes, die cracks or cuds, strike-throughs, grease, string, etc. Missing FG initials. Weigh the coin. A standard clad quarter should weigh around 5.67 grams. If your coin weighs more or less significantly, it could be a planchet error or struck on a wrong blank, boosting its value immensely. Grade it professionally. Once you suspect a rare error, submit it to PCGS or NGC for grading. Coins graded MS-65 and above command exponentially higher prices. That right, the 1983 P Washington quarter might just be the golden ticket sitting in your coin jar right now. Buried among pocket change and forgotten drawers lies a piece of American numismatic history that has stunned collectors, shocked auction houses, and rewritten the rulebook on rare coins. The birth of the 1983 P Washington quarter. The Washington quarter had been circulating since 1932, designed to honor the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. But by 1983, something was changing. The U.S. Mint had been dealing with increasing production demands, rising material costs, and, most importantly, a complete halt in mint sets from 1982 and 1983. Error in 1983 P quarters, clash dies, coin dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost images on the coins. Double dies, a misalignment during hubbing results in letters or numbers appearing doubled. Off-center strikes, coins are struck misaligned, partially missing design elements. Struck on wrong planchet, a quarter struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination, like a nickel or a cent. Real auction sales. Let's look at the real-world auction prices that turned heads in the numismatic community. Notable auction sales. 1983 P quarter missing clad layer, reverse only. Sold for $5,875 at Heritage Auctions. Grade, NGC MS-65. Visual, show coin with copper-toned reverse. 1983 P quarter on a penny planchet. Estimated value, $10,000 to $15,000. Copper-toned, weighs only 3.1 g, much lighter than normal quarter. 1983 P quarter broad struck with off-center strike. Sold for $3,000 plus depending on severity and grade. 1983 P quarter struck on dime planchet. Valued between $7,500 and $12,000. But the ultimate dream? If a collector or dealer ever uncovers a 1983 P double denomination strike in pristine condition, such as a quarter struck over a struck dime, the price could break into the six-figure range. Some estimate it might go for $250,000 to over $1 million at auction. How to identify a rare 1983 P era quarter? So now the million-dollar question. How can you tell if your 1983 P quarter is a jackpot? Checklist for spotting a rare 1983 P error quarter. Look for a missing clad layer. A copper-colored coin on one or both sides. Weighs 4.67 g instead of 5.67 g, standard. Check for double dies. Look closely at Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. Use a loop or macro lens. Doubling will be clear and sharp. Check for broad strikes or off-center errors. Is the coin's rim missing or partially missing? Design pushed toward one side. Weigh the coin. Weights outside the normal 5.67 g could indicate a wrong planchet. Today, we're diving into the shocking secrets, eye-popping values, and hidden history behind the most rare 1984 P-era Washington quarter that's turning heads in the numismatic world. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just have a treasure hiding in plain sight. Historical, by 1984, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins annually, with the Philadelphia Mint alone striking 676,545,000 Washington quarters that year. On the surface, that might not sound rare at all, but as seasoned collectors know, rarity isn't about quantity, it's about anomalies. 1984 P quarter rare error, double die obverse DDO, value $150 for low-grade examples, up to $3,500 to $5,000 plus for coins in MS65 plus condition. Off-center strike errors, value, 5 to 10% off-center, $50 to $150. Major off-center, greater than 50%, with full date and mint mark, $2,000 to $4,000 plus. Collectors pay premiums for dramatic visual errors, and 1984 P examples are among the most sought after. Clipped planchet, value, $75 to $300 depending on the size and clarity of the clip. Broad strike and no ridge edge, value, $200 to $800 depending on condition. Wrong planchet errors, value, a 1984 P quarter struck on a 5-cent planchet sold for $4,500 at auction. Even more shocking, a quarter struck on a foreign planchet, such as a planchet intended for the Philippines or Canada, could fetch $10,000 plus if authenticated. How to identify a valuable 1984 P quarter? Now comes the practical part. Here's how you can check your 1984 P quarters for potential life-changing value. Step-by-step guide. Check the date and mint mark. Look for 1984 and a clear P Philadelphia Mint. Use a 10x loop or magnifying glass. Check if any parts are off-center or show signs of a clip. Weigh the coin. Normal quarters weigh 5.67 grams. If it's dramatically less or more, you may have a wrong planchet error. Look at the edge. Is it missing the reeded edge? Could be a broad strike. Compare to online databases. Visit PCGS and NGC population reports for known varieties. Use eBay's sold listings to check market demand. Auction sales for 1984 P Washington quarters, PCGS MS 67, sold for $815.62. A superb gem example with toning. This coin achieved a significant price at auction, highlighting the value of high-grade specimens. MS67, sold for $1,293. Another high-grade example that reached a notable auction price, emphasizing the premium placed on coins in exceptional condition. MS66, sold for $34.08. While not as high as the previous examples, this sale reflects the market value for coins in slightly lower mint state grades. Condition matters. Coins graded MS67 or higher command premium prices. Varieties and errors. Distinct varieties like the clad type 2 and error coins can significantly increase a coin's value. Authentication. Having your coin graded by reputable services like PCGS or NGC can provide assurance to buyers and potentially increase its market value. Today's we're diving deep into the incredible story of the 1991 P Washington quarter dollar, a coin that could easily be mistaken for ordinary, until you discover the secrets it holds. Buried in the seemingly mundane world of everyday currency lies a mystery of rare mint errors, accidental strikes, and even coins struck on the wrong planchets. History of the Washington quarter. Designed by John Flanagan, it became the standard quarter dollar reverse until 1998. In 1965, silver was removed from the quarter, and the mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition, a crucial detail when it comes to identifying wrong planchet errors later. From 1965 through 1998, the coin's obverse remained largely unchanged, though sharp-eyed collectors know that even in these boring years, extraordinary rarities lurk. The most rare and valuable 1991 P errors, broad strike error, value, $75 to $500 plus depending on condition. Off-center strike, value, $100 to $3,000 plus. Double die obverse DDO, value, $200 to $10,000 plus in mint state. Struck on wrong planchet, value, $5,000 to $50,000 plus. Missing clad layer, value, $250 to $2,500 plus. Reverse die clash or CUD errors, value, $500 to $4,000 plus. Auction sales and biggest values. Let's talk about the highest auction records and real-world examples of 1991 P error quarters. Struck on a dime planchet, $9,775. A genuine 1991 P quarter struck on a dime planchet sold for $9,775 at a major U.S. coin auction. The coin weighed only 2.3 grams and was missing part of the design, easily identifiable once you know what to look for. Doubled die obverse, $12,600. One sharply doubled 1991 P quarter with prominent doubling on the date and Liberty fetched $12,600 in near mint condition. Wrong planchet, Philippines planchet, $18,400. A rare specimen struck on a planchet intended for Philippine coinage was authenticated and sold for $18,400. Off-center strike, 80%, $6,200. With nearly 80% of the design missing, this off-center strike was both dramatic and rare. Final price, $6,200. These are not just anomalies, they are life-changing finds, especially if you're lucky enough to discover one in your spare change. How to identify a valuable 1991 P error quarter, step-by-step checklist, weight test, standard is 5.67 g. Anything noticeably lighter or heavier, that's a red flag for a wrong planchet. Visual inspection, look for missing rims, off-center strikes, strange colors, or portions of other designs. Check for doubling, examine, In God We Trust, Liberty, and the date. Doubling can be subtle or dramatic. Listen to the sound, coins struck on silver planchets or foreign alloys often sound different. Use a magnifier or USB microscope. Some doubling or die clashes require 10x or higher magnification. Compare to known varieties. Use databases like Variety Vista or PCGS error listings.